And this is the opener for the 2024 political season. We're starting our new video and recording and our dinners. We've had lunches, and this is Redmove, Nevada, and we're happy to be here. We got a special guest tonight, Doug Truax. I'm going to just talk about Doug without reading all his bios, and we're going to go over a couple things. So, Chris, if you would play that video, and we'll start with it.
America is under attack. Our great cities are overrun with crime. Woke ideologies are brainwashing our children. The sanctity of life is not valued. The left wants to destroy our country. But Restoration of America isn't going to let that happen. We fight for election transparency, fair courts, the Constitution. We fight for you. Together, the battle to restore America has begun. Visit restorationofamerica.com and get involved.
So Doug, our speaker tonight, he's an unorthodox conservative political world. He comes with a mission to restoring America, which we really need to do. But he's also some unique things that I can relate to him. We're both West Point grads. So we survived the same 4 years and know the crazy stories, and we have the camaraderie from West Point. We're a very solid crew. He's in the Army. He was a field artilleryman, and he stayed in for a period of time, but he also went to something called Ranger School as a field artilleryman. Not a lot of FA guys go to Ranger School. It's by far the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. I'd rather be in the Korengal Valley than Ranger School swamp phase. So it's a tough thing, and it's something that not many people get. Its attrition rate's probably about 60 to 70%, depending on the time of year. He did a lot. Now, he ran for U.S. Senate in 2014 and almost won the primary in an upset. And he sort of, first time out, he figured out how to do it. That's tough to do, though. You hadn't been a councilman or any other seat, so he ran and did really well. But he saw the political system. He saw the problems with our political system, and he wanted to make a difference, and he started Restoration PAC. And it's grown, and it's highly well-funded, and they know the technical stuff better than me. I want to also introduce two of the people that came with him. Melissa, who is my first contact, Melissa Fisher. Could you stand up? Did I say that right, Melissa? Yeah. So she's the brains behind the contact and the coordination. And John, does he Pierman, correct? So he's been doing politics since he was 6 years old. And I got to connect him when I got him. Doug, why don't you come on up and take over? And we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks, Bill. Thank you so much for having us out. Really great to be in Nevada. We're highly involved in a lot of different states around the country, but getting going in Nevada. Had a great conversation over here at this table about what we're working on. So, like I said to them, they've got to hear some of this twice. So poor them. But thanks for the introduction. So I'm going to go over a couple different things. I figured I would probably start in the beginning pretty quick about how this all came to be. So Pierman and I have known each other from day one. He's actually a running buddy of my cousin. And I said to my cousin, I'm thinking of running for Senate here in Illinois. And my cousin says, I run with this guy. I think he knows politics. And that was Pierman. So we met, and I said, hey, I think I should do this. And he thought I was crazy, but he still backed me and his business partner. And it's been a great relationship. He's our COO. So I ran and lost in 2014. And then I got to January 2015 and said, well, I don't want to just do nothing going forward. There's too much at stake. And so started Restoration PAC, 527 Federal Super PAC, and that's just running ads and TV commercials and things like that is the core of it. And so we got going, and the first ad that we did was Senator Ron Johnson was facing down Russ Feingold. Remember, he had beat him, and Russ Feingold was back in Wisconsin. And we made Feingold declare his position on where he was with Iran nuclear deal. Because we ran this commercial about it's a bad idea to give a state sponsor of terror nuclear weapons. And so right out of the gate, we took like 9 points off of Russ Feingold. And that was our first foray into politics and into the 527 political world. Like, hey, this is pretty good. This is a good start. And so that was 2016. And then we got through a couple different things in, and then we also did the Hillary Clinton, the truth about Benghazi. So you remember the 13 hours movie and all that stuff. I know it's horrible. We made this ad, and I was direct to camera on it, and it just went crazy. It's still out there. You can go find it. Made her really declare, where she was with it because she lied like crazy on that one, and it was really, really hurt. I know, it was painful. So we did great work there, and then there was multiple things throughout time that we just working on different campaigns. The big thing for us though as we headed into 2020 was we ran this ad. Our ad maker, this guy Rick Reed. It's really sad. He's a great guy. He passed away unexpectedly last year. But he was the guy who made the Swift Boat Veterans for Truth ad. Remember that took Kerry down? So he's our ad maker. And in the 2020 cycle, he made this great ad called Unsuited. And I don't know if you remember when Biden was running for president back in 87. Was that 87? I guess it would have been yeah. And so there's this clip of him in New Hampshire in front of a bunch of reporters, and he's just lying about his resume. Have you seen this? And so it's just great. And so we just took that footage and made a commercial out of it, and it was called, Joe Biden, unsuited then, unsuited now. And it ran like crazy in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. We put a lot of money behind it. It did really well. We didn't win that race, obviously. Biden won. And then the week before that election, we actually made a Hunter Biden laptop ad. And it was, and Rick made that one too. It was really good. The ABC station in Philadelphia wouldn't run it. So, that's the kind of stuff we do. It gets a little edgy, but that was the October surprise that wasn't. So anyways, we got this reputation for being this great super PAC and doing what we do. And then just like you, that night when everything kind of froze and then Biden ends up winning and we're all like, what the heck just happened? I woke up the next day and just, we're all shell shocked and I'm furious. And I wrote this op-ed about what we should do going forward with our election system. And it's on American Greatness. It's still out there to this day. And so one of the things was really around the voter rolls, where we said to ourselves, you know what, the problem here is if the voter rolls are messy and you put ballots in the mail, sorry, Nevada, shouldn't do it, but if your voter rolls are messy and your ballots are in the mail, it's over, right? Because they can just collect them up and do what they need to do with them. So that's when this was born. So we just said, hey, the best way to do this, and I got to give credit to this really creative guy in our that we all hang out with in Chicago. This was his idea, but we really made it go. And so what it is basically is we take the data that the state has for the voter file, which is very hard to get and expensive in some states. In Alabama, it costs $33,000 per voter file, and every state costs a little different. But every time you get it, yeah. But we pay for it, pull it up, and so we have 33 states up. Nevada was the first state in August of 21, and so it took us. Once we had the idea to do it, it took us most of 21. It's like a startup business, it's high tech stuff. It's really complicated on the back end. But once we got it up and going, we realized we had something here because we got a lot of static. There was moments John was, going to lose his mind. We just had lots of lawyers going, don't do this, don't do this, don't publish the voter file, don't publish it's a bad idea. Private information. I'm like, no, it's not. It's public information. Always has been, always will be. First Amendment. And so we did it, and we just kept going, Nevada wasn't happy about it. We were in a lawsuit with New Mexico, which I think we're going to win. So I grew up in New Mexico. Deming. Anybody know where that is? I know where. Yeah. So that's my joke, is I left Deming when I was 17. I left New Mexico when I was 17, and I came back 35 years later with a federal lawsuit. So that's what we did. So it's getting close to being published. It'll turn red here once we do that. But the funny thing about this is the people in power don't want this information out, because the closer they can hold it, even some Republicans are like, let's keep it close because I like to, maintain my office and stuff like that. But, if you can go in here and figure out who in your precinct, you pulled up your own name the other day, right, Bill? Right. We were on the, he's like, pull it up. You can see the primaries you vote in and all that stuff. And so it's powerful stuff. And so what we're forcing everybody to do is we're going through and paying for the updates. All right. And so what's going to happen is, over time, the states will realize these guys are just going to keep coming back and republishing the data, so we're just going to make it as real time as possible. So our concept really is where I'm trying to get this to. It's going to take some time, but when you get on your app for your bank and you transfer money from your money market to your checking account, it happens right then. Why can't we just do that with our election system? It's the same technology. Somebody registered, somebody votes. We can just watch it real time happen. The great thing that's happening here too is two main things. Is you can go and look up your precinct, and you can go to every house in your precinct and make sure it makes sense. Are there 15 people registered at a UPS store? Right? Somebody said the casinos get a lot of registrants, So you can do it yourself. That's what's happening around the country. And then also a lot of people know of double voters, people that have moved and they know for a fact that they're voting from the place they moved to the place that they're at now. And, it's illegal. So, you can catch them doing that. It's only a matter of time too. We get all 50 up there and it's just like basically a massive database that you can pull down and see who the duplicates are. And then it's free game, right? Around the country for who's been doing the wrong things. So anyways, so that's a really cool thing. And 33 states, and the other 17, there's various, like you can see, Indiana's not up, but that's just a matter of we just got to get the Republicans on board there. Some of these things, but some of those blue states, it's going to be an all-out battle, and like we're doing in New Mexico. The fun thing about these blue states, though, is that once the federal judges, because we're in Pennsylvania and South Virginia and South Dakota, about to be. No, not in, Virginia. Sorry, we got like 12 lawyers. John's a lawyer too, so he herds the cats. But what's happening though is once the federal judge realizes, okay, wait a minute, this is the voter file, and you guys politically have been giving out to political consultants and everything else and not keeping track of it. But now you're going to tell these guys they can't put it up for the everyday people? And so once that light bulb goes on in the federal judge's mind, they're like, hey, this is pure First Amendment. The toothpaste is already out of the tube, okay? Let's just put it up here. And then it's easy for everybody to get to, and we pay for it. And so once we get this done, we're much closer to having a fully transparent election system. But the trick is, we can't, this is my little lecture internally with our team, is that, they're trying to overwhelm us, right? This is Saul Alinsky, right? They're trying to flood the system with so much stuff that we all wake up every day and we're like, what is it today? But we have to stay focused on some of the correct things, right? And this piece right here, if we have nationwide, everybody like us goes out and scrubs their precinct and stays after it, the transparency of the voter file will solve everything in terms of being able to cheat, because then everybody will know it's all right. And who is that? Who is the poll workers and the poll watchers? Well, the poll workers will know who they're talking about because we'll have every precinct figured out. It's going to take some time, but we got to get into this. They beat us to this badly, right? We were asleep at the wheel at the switch for a long time. So anyways, it's good stuff. So I'm going to move on from there. But any questions about that? Is it okay if I just stop to take questions, or do you want me to do that, Bill, or just keep going? Okay, yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. The red means that we've got them. Like if you click on, so Nevada, we've got it in there. So if you click on Nevada, sorry. So if you click on Nevada, we've got the voter file in there. So the gray state's not up to par. That's right, we don't have it yet. Yeah, they're fighting with us.
Did you say you have all the information on all 50 states?
No.
Okay,
33.
So is the gray the ones that you don't have the
Correct.
information on?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, how can South Dakota not be red?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Attorney General, they just have their little moments where they push back, and then we just keep pushing back at them, and we get there. So, yeah. So that's vote ref, and so we got that going. And I just wanted to. Did you have a question, Ray? Yeah.
What do you plan to do in Nevada? That's what we're concerned about. What
With this?
What are you going to target to help get Nevada people elected Republicans?
Oh yeah, I got a whole thing I'm coming up on that. I'll get with you in just a second on
Okay.
that. Yeah. I'm getting there.
The other thing
like
too,
the beginning. This is like a 3-hour presentation right now.
when we're done, I like to play. I've got about a 4-minute clip with some of those commercials. We can play the ones he talked about. It was one of my
Okay, yeah,
interactions.
great.
So.
That'd be great. Yes, sir.
Are they gonna, how do they stop access to this?
Well, for a while we were worried that, we had it on Amazon Web Services. So we fixed that problem. So nothing. No, they can't. I mean, it's public information, and so we've already won these battles as we go forward. So it's just a matter of time now. So it's but this is the right thing. This is the right thing. So I'd encourage you to go check your precinct. For sure, go check it out. Okay, so a couple more things about us. I just wanted to keep sharing a few things. So just a quick commercial for our 501c3, the Foundation for the Restoration of America. We have a constitutional education scholarship program. We partner with Hillsdale. We just started it, and the first batch of scholarships went out in June, and there's another one coming up at the end of the year. And the program is growing quickly, but it's not that big. So if you have a student in your life, they have a pretty good chance of getting a pretty good scholarship if they go check it out. So Foundation for the Restoration of America. And if you go to About, and then, there you go. So it's a 501c3, and it's a great program. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Okay, so there's the most recent winners and some really great essays, just wonderful stuff. Okay, so back to what we do kind of on a daily basis. So we also have an incredible data team. We've been building this over time, because if you don't have the right data, like I know we were talking about i360 and stuff over there a while ago, but there's different levels now with AI and machine learning. So we're doing all that internally, where you can take data from all kinds of places and make sure you're finding the right people. Because if you build a map of Nevada, which we're going to do, is you can say this precinct has this group of people that we are not reaching with this message, and we know that's super important to them, so we're going to get that to them. And so it's a real connection internally with our operation, with the great data, over to making sure we're doing the right thing. So we got that in place. And the most exciting thing, I think, is that coming out of this last election, I, like you, was very discouraged. I got really down for about a month. And I just said, you know what? It just feels a lot like the left has a permanent machine. The Fetterman thing, right? You're just like, okay, what just happened? And so you also have to understand that however it happened, okay, I'm not bashing Republicans or anything like that, but however it happened, the Republican Party builds itself up and tears itself down every 2 years. And it creates an incredible amount of political grifting and lack of confidence from donors. And so, one thing you should know about our organization is that I always say internally, we're a business that does politics. Okay? I don't get any compensation for this. I never have. I've never taken any money politically. I'm an entrepreneur. I've built and sold a business. I have another business. And I run Restoration of America like I run a business. And John is our COO, and I got other great people working for me. But that's part of the reason we have the confidence of the people who do give us money. And so it dawned on me, coming out of that last election, we have got to get permanent assets in states. Okay, we have to have people on our staff that are in specific states working that state every election cycle, and they don't disappear. We have our state political director, Nathan Jackson, in Arizona. He was part of the regional RNC. And I said, Nathan, welcome. So during the last election, how many RNC people were in Arizona, like regionally and nationally? He says, 12. I said, Nathan, how many of them are still there? 1. Now, like I said, I don't, it's just the way it is. And so now Nathan works for us. He's on staff. He's an employee. What's that? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we pulled him. Right, exactly. So now they're down to 0. So Nathan and some other folks are permanent staff in Arizona. And so that's where we're going with this. Right now, we're building permanent staff in 4 key states: Arizona, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Georgia. And we're here because we want to start building permanent assets in Nevada as well, because it's a key state. Now, out of the gate, I don't think we're going to have people on staff on the ground. We were just talking to Nicole on the table over there about the concept of making sure we understand what's happening with the partnership amongst the groups in the state that are doing voter registration, ballot chase, legal stuff, who's doing what, who's doing a good job. And then we map it all out, and then we help people. We fill gaps. Sometimes we give people money to do things that they're already doing, but do them even better, do it even more. And so that's what I'm really excited about, because I think probably 18 years from now, we're going to be working in 20 key states, and we'll have permanent assets there, and we'll be running it like a business still. It'll be game over. We'll have those states consistently, and so we're not going to go anywhere. So that's what we've been working on. That's why we're out here, to make sure that we understand what's going on, because I do think that and you all would know better than me, but I've certainly seen in other states, once we get going, the amount of people that want to call in and say, I want to help. I want to help. I know the joke in Illinois is try to join the Illinois Republican Party. You cannot do it. Okay, it's impossible. Nobody knows who to call or what to do or anything. There's just no party, right? It's just terrible. Okay, we can't have that. All right, so we're working on something called the Restoration Response Center, that is basically, manned 24-hour call center that's going to be in certain states to begin with, but basically able to take people in and say, yeah, I got something for you. What are you interested in? Voter registration, being a poll worker, interested in the legal side of things. You want to figure out how to go check your precinct, all that stuff. So we're going to arm them. There's an ocean of people out there that want to do something, and we're going to help them.
Hi, I'm Zoe Gong. As a traditional Chinese man.
I don't think that was our ad. So that's what I'm really most excited about at this moment, because I think that's going to be the game changer. Because I think that we got complacent over time, and I would say even we did too. Because you run ads, and you're trying to make an impact and stuff like that. But meanwhile, the Democrats have got the unions and the government workers, and they're just like a machine going forward, right? And so, what's that? Oh yeah. That's right. Now we do. So we're going to catch up quick, because the interest is there. The demand is high. The demand is high for us to do something more than it's ever been, by like a lot. You think about politically 6-8 years ago, let's run some ads, Republicans, we'll get it done. Everybody's with us. Well, you know what? I think they are still a center-right country, but when you get run over every time by a political machine, that's what's been happening. They've just been running us over, and we're not doing it anymore. So that's how we're going to approach it now going forward. So that's a lot about us. I would say too that we definitely make sure that we find candidates that think like us. We're pretty far right. Okay, we don't pull any punches on that. I'd say that the number one thing is, we as Republicans and conservatives, we have to have an economic message. Okay, we are now the party of the middle income, low income, and the small business owners. Okay, we're not big business anymore. Okay, the big business guys, they're all wealthy globalists. Okay, they don't care about the little guys anymore. Let's just call it what it is. The whole thing has shifted, so let's just recognize that. And so, I think about these big corporations too. When I got acquired, I was part of one for a while, just a little while. Then I got out as quickly as I could. But the HR departments and the marketing departments are run by single white millennial females that are the core base of the Democrat Party. And they are running those CEOs who are passive into the ground. Okay, so they're just not our people anymore. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So we got to call it what it is. But who are our people? Middle income, lower income, small business owners. Those are the people that we have got to be talking to. We have to have an economic message for them. Lower taxes, get the debt under control, drill, baby, drill, get energy prices down, right? They want to hear all that, right? So we have to get that across to them. This is what we're going to do. And when people say, gosh, the debt, it's crazy. What are we going to do? Well, I think we all know it's high time that we do some pretty radical things that a couple years ago were radical, they're not now. The entire federal government needs to move out of DC. All right? We have got to break it up. Okay? We've got to put the Department of Agriculture in Des Moines. Reno gets the Department of Interior. I don't know, just making that up on the spot. But, in that process, I bet half those workers out of DC don't make it. And that's a good start, right? So, they'll just be like, I'm staying in DC. It's like, fine, you stay there. We're gonna break this whole thing up. But people will say, you know what? Maybe they don't need as many tax dollars from me if the federal government is much smaller. All right? So let's lower taxes, like a flat rate, 20% for everybody, something like that. We don't need a corporate tax. We don't need a state tax. We just do 20% across the board. And everybody, this is how this works, with different country going forward. We have to have that economic message because the stagnation of wages in the middle and lower incomes is just horrible. Okay, and if we as conservatives can't embrace that, while the left goes crazy global, right? They want no borders, all that stuff, right? They want globalism. So we have to have a good message for our folks. So we're looking for candidates that think that way because that's the direction we have to go. The other thing is we have to send a message to the rest of the country that we're the party that looks out for the kids. Okay, we know full well right now they're trying to mainstream pedophilia. Okay, so we have got to stop it. All that, right? We're super pro-life, and I'm not going to, I'm happy for Dobbs and everything, and we're always working on that all the time. But this whole defending the children thing, CRT in the schools, horrible. This concept that these teachers' unions can basically run cities like Chicago now. Brandon Johnson, you thought Lori Lightfoot was bad, right? I don't live in Chicago. I live in a suburb, just to be clear. But it's pretty bad. But the teachers' unions, they're not looking out for the kids anymore. They're looking out for the teachers. And so we have got to start saying out loud, there should be no such thing as a union of government employees. Teachers' unions especially. It's just they're working both sides. They're paying off the politicians and they get what they want. Look at every major city in the country, okay? So we've got to start saying stuff like that. But the number one reason for that, looking out for the kids. All right, we have got to look out for people. And that's a message that every moderate will go, I like those guys better because those guys over there are nuts. Okay, they're after my kids and they're trying to indoctrinate them, not educate them. We have got to get them on our side. And look, if we don't look out for our kids, it's because of providence that we got this far. God is watching, okay? And if we aren't obedient to him in the way that we should be looking out for our kids, then we don't, God bless America. I don't know. If we don't look out for our kids, I don't know. So we got to get serious about this. Back to the economic thing. One other thing we have got to start saying out loud, and I'm just going to say it, is that this immigration thing is a major problem. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and there's 196 countries, and every one of those 8 billion people is a citizen of one of those countries. We are fortunate that we're citizens of the United States of America. But you're not allowed to be a citizen of another country and sneak into our country and stay here, okay? If I snuck myself into some other country and said, hey, I'm here, take care of me, they wouldn't do it. So we have got to get serious about deportation. Because you know what they're doing? It's a lot of people that are in here right now. And I promise you, in 10 years, they're just going to make them voters, okay? And then it's over, okay? It's completely over. So let's not pretend like they're doing something. Oh, I wonder what's going on here. There's a lot of people coming in, a lot of migrants on the corners in Chicago. It's terrible, okay? So we have got, and the other thing that will do for us, the middle income people in this country and the lower income people in this country know that what I just said is what needs to be done because they've been taking their jobs. And that is why wages have stagnated in this country. Okay, we've been swimming in this water. We're like the fish in the water. Okay, I'm just telling you what has to happen or we're going to lose our country. All right, because these guys, these atheist, Marxist, globalist people, they want our country. They just want it gone. okay? We are going to defend it. And the only way we're going to defend it is we're going to have to say out loud the things that are problems. And that is a major problem, and we got to fix it. And the last thing I'll leave you with, as far as what we're looking for from our candidates that we work with, is you got to be strong militarily. You know, this military thing, the woke, the diversity. I mean, when I was in the military, in the Army, it was the most, 10 years active duty, it was the most diverse organization in the history of the world. And you know what? None of us knew it, because we all just had uniforms on and we were supposed to be uniform. That's why you wear a uniform, you know? This DEI stuff, it just tears the whole thing apart. We got to end that completely. We got to get these generals out of DC and their socialized cocktail parties, and they got to get back to the troops, because I'll tell you why recruiting is down. What do you want? You go join the military, and the first thing they're going to do is talk to you about trans? Okay, you join the military. And when I went to West Point, I had love of country, but that was secondary. First was I wanted to be a warrior. That's why people join the military. And you want to know where recruiting's down? Because you don't go to the military to be a warrior now. You go to the military to get indoctrinated. And so we've got to change that too, because if we can be the party going forward of two main things, all that other stuff's important: strong economy, strong military. I'm telling you, everybody in this country is going to be like, man, those Republicans, they got it figured out. But we have got to say it out loud. We got to start making changes. And so I'm just telling you, hang in there. I know that it's difficult days. It's dark. Okay, I of all people I know. Okay, but we're doing things. We got the vote ref thing. We got the state focus. We're doing things. You guys are working. We have got to stay diligent. That's all we can say right now. It's a lot of work ahead of us. Be focused. We got a lot of work ahead of us. Just know that we're out there, and I appreciate Bill and crew and everything that you guys are doing, and everybody in this room. I know you're working hard. We're going to be here to join with you, but we can get this right, but it just takes a lot of effort, but we're here for you too. So it's a great country. It's worth it, right?
Doug, before we finish, I got about a 3-minute clip. Chris, if you want to please play that. So this is a montage. There's a 3-minute, there's a 50-minute, and there's a 2-minute sound. You just have to sound.
America, even in small towns.
Protest, so we just have officers that can only monitor. They can't do anything about it. But officers can do to get
out of here,
is coming apart at the seams. Out of control crime, out of control energy prices.
Mark Kelly says he's tough on the border.
I've been focused on the border since day one.
Really, Mark? Here are the facts.
Yuma, Arizona, seeing 584% more single adult crossings.
John Fetterman voted 26 times to pardon convicted murderers against the advice of law enforcement.
Martin Luther King Jr. said it. Wisconsinites practice it. Judge people by their character and their actions.
What has the Joe Biden, Maggie Hassan team given us? Spiraling crime.
On Attorney General Josh Shapiro's watch, crime isn't just in cities anymore. Since Shapiro...
Proponents of Issue 4 claim legalizing marijuana will protect our communities, but the facts tell a different story.
Type John Tester's liberal record. Restoration PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Now we know the real truth about Hillary Clinton and Benghazi. She lied, and the emails prove it. About an hour after the attack began, Hillary Clinton tells her daughter the truth. It was an Al-Qaeda-like group. Then she tells the Egyptian Prime Minister the truth, too. It was a terrorist attack not related to any YouTube video. But when speaking to us, her story changes.
Some have sought to justify this vicious behavior as a response to inflammatory material posted on the internet.
As the bodies of murdered Americans are returning to grieving families, Clinton lies to them and again blames a video. A news organization concluded she was an architect of the lie, told over and over.
Very offensive video. The hateful video. Hateful video. Very hateful, very offensive video.
In the heat of a political campaign, Clinton lied to protect her job. She even lied to families of our heroes. And she wants to lead our country? Restoration PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Party. You've really done something here.
Well, we're...
So, John, thank you for a couple seconds. So here's a spin master, I call him, the guys behind the scenes. Sorry about that, Doug. I wanted him to come up, both of them. So you can stay up there with them. If you got any, if anybody has any questions of them and what they're doing and what they're going, because a lot of people, I'm trying to convince folks that this is the way we need to go in Nevada. We need to back organizations like this. We need to create organizations like this. I started videoing 10 years ago, RMC and different things and Redmove, not to just have dinners, but to actually do something. And we need to do something. So these guys are here, ask them questions. We'll finish.
Yeah, I listen to a number of podcasts by, and I'll mention a few, and then I'll throw out some information, maybe see if you've thought about this. I listen to Steve Bannon on a regular basis and Charlie Kirk, and they keep talking about how there's basically 6 to 9 counties that need to be won in like 3 key states, and if the Republicans win those 9 counties in those 3 key states, they win the whole thing. Is there any truth to that, or do we need to be thinking bigger than that?
No, absolutely. No, it's strange now. It's really not a national race, mostly. I mean, a lot of states have already been determined just based on their demographics. Yeah, Maricopa, Milwaukee.
Yavapai and
Fulton.
Arizona.
Yeah. So, well, Maricopa's the main culprit. But yeah, when they say 9, you can usually pick one in one county in 4 different states to come up with 4, but then there's collar counties around those 4. So yeah, it's basically Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, and North Carolina are the main,
We're going to be, we've got some resources we're working on.
And once in a while, Nevada, depending on if people come across the California border.
Had Trump won those 6 to 9 counties, he would be president of the United States today.
Sure. Yeah, he lost 3 states by a total of 40,000 votes. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Hello. What is your opinion on the convention of state and to have a getaway with the electoral college, to have a popular vote? I've visited here a Republican meeting last month, and there was both Republican speaker pro and con, and I would like to know what you think about it.
We haven't been dealing with this too much. Yeah, no. Yeah, she's talking about the Convention of States guys. Yeah, right. Yeah. So we don't. It's not our deal. So. No. Against having a Convention of States to. I think that just my personal feelings about it. I mean, it's a heavy lift to 1. 2, you got to be careful what you're asking for. You could get some stuff that you're, right, it's a Pandora's box in a sense too. So, proceed with caution for sure. So. That's right.
What you said. There are 9 cities and in a few states, and they're going to determine it. And Nevada doesn't even matter.
Well, that's the current state of play. It changes all the time. I mean, like historically, it's not always going to stay this way. Like a couple cycles from now, it'll look a little different. Fulton County will be taken care of or whatever, and it'll move around the country. That's right. That's right.
It wasn't that long ago they were blue states. Yeah.
I think there's a great deal of credit to be given to our founders for setting up this system of the Electoral College. If we did not have the Electoral College, 2 or 3 states would dictate who would win the election every year, and the rest of the states would have absolutely nothing to do with it. So to say that we need an election where the popular vote is what determines it is the end of this particular republic.
Sure. You got to keep it.
So is there anyone else? Well, go ahead.
So I guess what comes to my mind, and again, I'm kind of just came in here. Thank you, Beth, for inviting me. I'm wondering, I guess I want to know where the strategy lies. I mean, one of the great deficits, quite frankly, in this county and for the state is there's been lack of strategic vision. I'm a strategist. I work in strategy professionally, but in terms of a strategy that everybody can get behind, we are absolutely lacking. We are in multiple pockets because we are really fighting amongst each other. Sure. And the leadership is absolutely deplorable. And unless we fix and get a strategic vision that we can all get behind and mobilize behind, we are sunk. That is my concern.
Sure. Yeah, you have to assess each state, what we're doing through business planning and our maps and voter registration and everything else, and saying this is what we're going to do in these states. And you know, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out in Nevada for us in particular, but you know, there's a way to do this where, you know, we just hold people accountable. If they're going to work with us, if they're going to get money from us, they're going to deliver on metrics, and if they don't, they're out. You know, so that's there's a lot of political grifting still going on, and people say they're going to do things, they don't do it. So some of this is just determining who's really going to do what, and then going down that path with them and making sure that everybody does what they say they're going to do, and then filling the gaps. So it creates the strategy. The strategy is to win, right? Yeah. So, but how do you get there? Yeah. So that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Doug, one of the questions is specific to Nevada, and I asked a little bit earlier. How do you plan to help Nevada conservative candidates? Because a lot of the women's clubs especially are very active and make things happen. It could be good recruits for you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I had a great conversation back there. Yeah, I mean, we're already getting it figured out. I've had a great conversation about partnership, and yeah, you just got to dive in and start talking to people and figure out who's doing what, and then if we're able to, you know, help a group that's doing great and give them a little more money so they can do more of what they're already doing, then that's fine too. You know,
because we have some pretty good candidates potentially coming up.
Yeah, great.
Even for city council.
Right. That's right. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Well, it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm sure you could stay around and talk a bit. And I appreciate for Doug for coming out and his team. That's the presidential. But after the primaries, after we have our primaries through and we have the Assembly, Senate, the one Senate seat, we have usually an after-action report where we discuss what happened, and maybe that'd be a good time for you to come out and mid-tour. And that next time, because you'll get the word out there, we'll have 200 people in here, and we'll do the luncheon. We'll do the luncheon and the dinner in the same day. And I think that'll have good impact, and we'll have time to plan for it. But you guys, it's good that we just got together as a small group. These are the hardcore folks, because we put this together in about a week. And I think the word will get out there. We videoed this, and we'll get the information out, and we'll go forward. You know, the other thing, too, WinPAC gave a presentation a few weeks ago at one of our luncheons. They're another good group. They're working in the Assembly and Senate, and all the same, real conservative, a lot of principles, different techniques, a lot of Reagan principles. But anyway, that said, I appreciate everyone that showed up, last-minute thing, and thank you for coming through. They're only through here, like, how many hours? 14 hours?
The 19th of this month is the luncheon. The 19th of this month is the luncheon. Show up, but more importantly is the U.S. Senate candidates, January 18th, here. And 5 out of the 7 key ones already committed. And you have to listen to us.
And again, I thank you again for the last minute, and I'm sure we're going to be connected in the future. So thanks.